So last year at Cheer Camp we had a confidential session, and it was just all JV and varsity put into one room, no coaches. And I got to see a totally different side on everyone in that team. So we were basically talking about, how our lives were, and we were in a big circle. Everyone went along, and it was their turn.
What kind of things did you share?
So we shared about life problems, and a lot of them had similar things to talk about. And by the end of the session, we all realized that maybe that girl over there didn't like you at the beginning of the year, but or maybe you didn't know that much about her, and you always thought of her as to be something totally different. So we kind of learned that looks can be very deceiving, and we totally saw a different level on the whole team as one instead of everyone picked out individually. And by the end of the session, we were all in tears.
It was a prayer that I did with my dad. I had to be able to accept Christ. It was about a year ago. Well, it was sometime after I accepted Christ. I started to kind of change a little bit, and I kind of wanted to improve my relationship with God, and I actually started being more considerate before I did something.
One day when I was doing some volunteer work at a school, an elderly lady came into the classroom out of the doorway and asked me why I looked so sad, and it startled me because I didn't know this lady, and she had noticed that I was wearing a cross necklace, and she had asked me what I was dealing with, and at that time I was dealing with depression and my faith, and I didn't really want to talk about it because it was such a touchy situation that it was just really hard for me to go through. And so she sat down and talked with me for at least an hour, and we talked about my faith and what God had done for her in her life. And she told me that no matter what I did or what I was going to do, God will always love me no matter what.
That conversation changed a lot of things because, we were all so much closer afterwards. We just got to know each other more. It just felt like we were combining together instead of being just, she's my flyer, she's my, base. We're no, we're a family now.
And hearing that just changed something in me, because I would always hear it but never directly to me, and it just changed so much that I started seeing things in a different way.
So if we hadn't talked about those things or hadn't had that, session in the cabin at camp, I feel like we would have been back from where we started. We all wanted to rip each other's hair out. We were just not happy with each other. Every once in a while we'd just, at the end of the day, we'd come back to each other, say it's a good day and just leave, but we got way closer and we cared for one another way more.
Then I probably wouldn't have accepted Christ. Probably not at all, or probably just not for a very, very long time.
I think that had that conversation not happened and that lady not been there, I think I still would have been really struggling with my faith, and I would have kept in all the things that I really just needed to get out.
Yeah, definitely.
I do believe that God put that lady there at that specific day and that time for a reason because he knew exactly what I needed to hear.
Well, knowing what to say and how to say it so it doesn't and like come out like you're overdoing it, like trying to shove it into someone's face.
I think that something that happens when initiating a remarkable conversation without even knowing it is that things trigger people to make them feel a certain way, so it can go either good or bad.
I think the biggest challenge we face when initiating remarkable conversations is rejection and feeling that they won't treat you the same as as they did before you tried talking to them about whatever it is.
As believers, I think that it's really important to stay connected and rooted in what God has said to us and what God is saying to us by reading and praying and just making sure that we have that strong connection that He gave to us in the beginning.
The best way to ensure that we are listening and responding to God's prompting is that we pray and focus on our relationship with God.